Hi, it's Charlie, and welcome to part two of the videos where last week I said, can you make $1 billion from trading the Forex markets? Which obviously you can't. And yet I still had someone say, yes, you can, and then proceeded to promote some some trader person, whoever it was. But you do have to laugh because you physically can't do it in the market because it comes down to volume. So people that say yes, you can start off with 10,000 and you can turn it into $1 billion. You know, in theory you can, as regards to you could take on money, but if you're trying to turn a million, let's say, into $1 billion, or 10 million into $1 billion, you can't. The reason why you can't, I'll let you into a little secret, is that in order to turn 10 million into $1 billion, you would be needing to do, some serious returns each year. So you'd be needing to do, 100% a year. And once you get beyond 10 million to 20 million, 20 million into 40 million, 40 million to 80, and so on and so forth, you start getting into those, 80 million plus, it's almost impossible to be able to carry on doubling your money each year in order to do something like that within the space of a few years, relatively speaking. Of course, you could make $1 billion in the markets if you've got 10 billion or 20 billion or whatever. You could make $1 billion, but to be able to trade an account up in order to be able to make those sorts of returns 100% in a year on that sort of money, it's very, very difficult because of the leverage involvement. You just can't. People wouldn't. Anyway, I give up. You can tell I'm like, yeah, it doesn't work that way. Not once you get to higher levels, there's not enough of a market there for you to make that sort of return on your money. It's why you don't hear of any hedge funds doing 100% a year every year. They just don't do it. Anyway, right. So we'll move on to the next part. Right. Okay. Concentrate. So the hourly chart that I looked at last week was not an hourly chart. One or two of you guessed correctly. And the reason I said it's an hourly chart is because I wanted you to have a blank canvas. I wanted you to have a blank canvas and not to have any sway or bias in your view. So this is a non-biased view. This is just a view based on the charts. Some of you quite rightly said, oh, you might want to look at different time frames and such like that, and things like that. But I just wanted a simple answer, really. I appreciate all of your answers and all the various views, but based on this information, all I wanted was to know whether you thought, based on this chart, you thought this market would go higher or lower. And there was certainly a majority of people said they thought it would go higher. I'll put you out of your misery. There's the date down the bottom. So all of a sudden you can now see that this goes back a lot further. And if I then swing in the prices, you'll see, oh look, we're at 112.90 or so. Very quickly you start to realize we're looking at a euro dollar chart. So anyway, looking at this, just looking at this purely from a technical perspective, look where it is. It's in the lower part of the channel, and we've got a majority of people saying it going up. It doesn't mean to say it's going to, and this has got nothing to do with crowd theory, because there is no bias here. People just thought they were looking at a technical trend channel and that a market was down near the lower part of its channel. And of course, it may want to break down. It's had its chance to bounce down here, had a bit of a bounce off it. It's coming back down for it. Maybe this time it breaks. And if that is the case, then this may have a much bigger move to the downside when you're looking at this much bigger time frame. So anyway, sometimes it's good to strip your charts down, make it nice and simple, and actually ask people without bias what do they think, because sometimes you get a better view then technically. If I'd have just said, oh, look at this, it's the euro dollar, then people would have then started to have their own biases would start creeping into their analysis. So thank you ever so much for that last week. And that's pretty much it for this week. So I shall leave you with that thought this week, that we are in this trend channel. And technically, most of you are right. At the moment, until it breaks down, we are in the channel. on the bigger time frame. But if it, quite rightly, like some of you have said, if it does break down, then certainly there could be a channel break to the downside. But be warned, we haven't broken down just yet. We could well do, but good analysis gives you something to think about. Take care for now. See you on Friday.